Hi everyone, this is Stephanie from Mandorla Yoga Institute, and I'm here with Jess today just to talk about the Thai yoga therapy approach and what a Thai yoga therapy session looks like. In particular, for those of you who are yoga teachers, I've mentioned in other posts before that this is a really good segue for you to transition out of teaching group classes and into more private sessions. What I really like about Thai yoga therapy is that it allows me to use elements of Thai yoga massage. So I'm actually massaging the person and helping them to relax, and I'm giving them a benefit immediately to the appointment. But then I'm integrating yoga therapy knowledge. So I might be looking at the myofascial trains and the musculature, helping them to either release tension or to build or repattern muscular strength. So we're just going to do a few simple postures with Jess. Usually at the beginning of an appointment, I spend the first 3 minutes or so chatting with the person, getting a feel for how they feel on every level. So we ask how they're feeling emotionally, mentally, physically, energetically. Are they tired? Are they feeling sore, stiff, where, etc. So Jess and I have already done that. We're going to assume that we've already done that. And we're going to move into the beginning of the session. So usually we're going to look at releasing one fascial line at a time. We have Jess lying in a prone position. So what we're doing in this appointment is focusing on the front of her body. And so we're going to be releasing any tension that she might have through the deep and superficial front arm lines, as well as the deep and more superficial front lines of the torso. We are going to start with a gentle myofascial stretch that's going to get into the shoulders. And so I'm going to start by bringing Jess's arm into a nice right angle position. And then I'm going to assist her in bringing her second arm into more of a chaturanga stance. So her hand is pressed into the floor. It's directly underneath her shoulder, and her elbow is lined up with her hip. I'm just going to ask you to press firmly into your hand, feeling your shoulder up off the floor. And let's start to take your leg, bending through the knee just a touch. And really allow that knee to drop down, feel heavy. We're starting to get a little bit into the hip. So I can support her in a yin posture. And for those of you who don't know, in Mandorla sequencing, we usually use a combination of restorative postures where we drape on props, yin postures where we use the body to stretch and release certain areas, or I should say lengthen areas of a myofascial line. And then we combine that with Thai massage and at times elements of vinyasa yoga so that there's movements to gently invigorate and release and actually help the muscles to move and free up. So right now we have Jess in a yin posture. And in particular right now, we're getting more into the spiral line as well. And so I might start to add some assist just to help lengthen and accentuate the posture. And then another element of a Thai therapy session that I really appreciate is that I can integrate the breath work that is used in yoga therapy. So I can place my hands in different positions and just invite her to visualize her breath expanding into my hands. And there's a few things happening here. As she does this, by using her breath and visualizing its movement in a different way, she's helping the body to embrace relaxation and to let go of tension. On the nervous system level, what's really neat is that it's creating a little bit of a tug on the vagus nerve, which is telling the parasympathetic nervous system to kick in. You still feeling something? Okay, we should check on our guinea pig from time to time. Okay, so we're going to transition out of this pose. And so I'll support you. Start to bring your leg back, please. And then slowly let your shoulder roll back towards the floor. And if we were doing a full session, I might repeat that on the opposite side, but just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to ask Jess to just place your hands underneath your forehead for me, please. There you go. And we're just going to do some rocking and inviting some loosening. You might not be able to see this, but I've placed an extra blanket under her hip so that I'm not creating any tension or pain into her hip bones as I do this. And so as we progress through the practice, there's a combination of using actual yoga postures and massage techniques. One of the things that I'm doing right now is working on the erector spinae. So this is getting more into the back line. And this is also preparing Jess for some of the back bends that we're going to be doing as we move into this series a little more deeply. If you're newer to Thai massage and this is something that you want to play around with, you don't have to be a yoga teacher or a massage therapist. You're welcome to try this. Just make sure that you're not pressing directly on any bones. Use the palm of your hand and let it sink in and just roll away from the spine. So you're just using your weight to rock and follow through. So again, assuming that we had done both sides, I'm going to move into some back bends with Jess. So first I want to prep her back, so creating length and tractioning through the spine. And then I want to do some work on her quadriceps and getting into the hip flexors, which is actually technically part of the quadricep group. If you look in particular at the main quadricep muscle, rectus femoris, its attachment is at the hip bone here. And so that's actually where we tend to get a lot of hip tension. So we're going to focus on that area. And just starting first by clasping the ankles, I'm going to gently pull back and create some space through the hips. How does that feel?
Amazing.
Okay. So staying with that rocking motion, this is very soothing for the nervous system. Again, you want a blanket under the hips. And we can let the knees bend a little bit more. Just going to draw up, really protecting my spine. And just starting to warm in to the back body. Is it all right if I kneel on your glutes? All right. So I'm just coming down. I ask permission, of course. And I'm going to borrow your arms, please. Thank you. And just take a nice inhale breath for me. And exhale. And really following her breath, I'm just going to start to draw open, making sure to not pinch the wrists. And gently draw down. So really listening to their breath. And again, rolling up. And so let's say that through the course of a session, while I'm doing a combination of yoga postures, breath work, and some Thai massage, I start to observe that there's tension in certain muscle groups. We can actually use some yoga therapy techniques to target those individual myofascial lines. And what's really neat about myofascia is that if I observe that there's a muscle on one area of a train that is restricted, I can actually address another muscle that's elsewhere in that train and create a chain effect that will help to release the area that's tense. And this is really great in cases where there's acute pain or issues where you don't want to touch something because of inflammation or other pain issues. And what I really like about the Thai therapy model is that in the modules that focus more on the anatomy, we're going to be looking at a very specific protocol where we have each myofascial train taught to you. You learn the muscles of that group and then how to release them and how to repattern them. And so you can actually follow that template in your sessions. And so Jess is doing pretty well here. I think what we're going to do is roll her over. So I'll just show that technique. I'm going to bring her here. And we'll tuck that ankle. And we'll bring this arm just to the side. And we're going to clasp and just start to rock. And oh, there she goes. Wonderful. So for the rest of the session, what we might do is look at a strengthening element and what areas we might need to repattern. I'm going to leave it there for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Namaste.